Tomorrow is Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. We will be back Thursday and Friday this week, and if the sale is on, the code is MERRY, MERRY. Save 7% on all the tech, all the supplements. And by the way, I've changed it the way I'm doing my consults now. If you request just a starter protocol, you want to know what supplements to take and what kind of tech might help you, that's all free. No matter who you are and where you are, if you ever purchased anything. But as soon as you start asking me to interpret results or reports you have from your doctor, or I have to order test kits, or I have to read a report on somebody, you need to sign up for our First Nations medical system, and then I start billing you for my time. Now, that's very rare. It's only about 2 to 4% of the time. Everything else is free. So I'm one of the only telemedicine doctors in the world who will provide a free call back and email to tell you what to take and what things you can do. But as soon as I have to analyze reports and start giving advice on what tests to do and so on, you need to sign up, and we can then move to the next stage. So the sale is MERRY, and it goes on to January 3rd. You made a very important comment that I've been kind of wrestling with for 3 years, Greg. And because you're an Intel guy, you use your logic, but you also use your gut. And one of the comments you made just before the show today is you realize, having talked to people that have interviewed Donald Trump, the man is a genius, okay? He's really smart. He can actually go through hundreds of people and remember the first and last name and everything about them. He's the ideal media super genius. In other words, that's why he did so well in The Apprentice. And when other people are pretty big personalities like Arnold Schwarzenegger, nobody could match up what he could do, could they? Now, what people need to understand about Donald Trump is Donald Trump's father and Donald are both high-level Scottish Rite Masons. Now, you have to understand the world is run by Masons. Secret orders run everything on earth. The banks, the CEOs, the universities, the law schools, the governments of every country on earth, and they call it different names in different religious groups or even non-religious groups, but they're all secret orders. Now, the name for Donald Trump, that is his secret Masonic name, is Apollyon Rising. If you go to his apartment on the 66th floor, you can actually go online and actually see it. He's got Apollo everywhere. And the reason is he's received from his Masonic buddies that he is the one to recolonize Mars, because we've had a colony on there since 1982. He's saying we're going to go back to the moon, which garbage is that? We've had a city on the moon even 5 years before the Eagle landed on the moon. Do you know that? We've actually had a mining operation on the moon, and we've been mining helium-3 since the 60s, okay? So you got to start understanding here what they tell you is garbage. The so-called, then they say, oh, we're failing on putting things up. In fact, this week I think they had failed of some kind of thing that landed in the New Mexican desert, I think it was, or something. This is all by design to tell you that they haven't gone back to the moon in 50 years, and they had technology that was, how can I say it, the computers they used to actually bring the space capsule to the moon was less sophisticated than in your watch 30 years ago, okay? So you got to understand these people are full of it and lying to you that they put these men in grave danger when in fact they had technology. Now they have tokamak fusion reactor plasma rockets that fly between here and Mars. In fact, the director of Space Command said to me, we control every cubic centimeter of space between here and Mars. I said, you mean the moon? He says, shut the F up, Dago. This is a come to Jesus talk. Now you got to understand, I didn't mean for him to swear at me, but he was pretty mad that I would not grasp the fact that I was going to be told everything so I wouldn't freak out when I found out the truth. So Donald Trump basically, when he announced this week he's going to do Space Force, it's not just Space Force to protect our satellites and our communication and our financial systems and to make sure our eyes don't get poked out in a future thermonuclear or missile war. No. He's recolonizing Mars, and he knows damn well that if he pours in the budget there, he will be the man who will get the credit for resurrecting Mars, because the erect phallic symbol of the god Apollo, the sun god, who lived on Mars when it was destroyed in an ancient galactic war, that phallic symbol is before the Vatican, before the White House, and everywhere else in the world. Now, what is that? That's the erect penis of King Apollo, the moon, the sun god who lived on Mars. Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
I bet you did. I knew it was going to be an affirmative answer. Now, what you're wrestling with is you found it hard to believe that this man, now we've been trying for 2.5 years to get through this knucklehead about a number of areas where he's either screwing up or he's laying the groundwork for the New World Order. Number one, he gave credit to his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, who got the USMC treaty passed, which people think is all wonderful. It's replacing NAFTA. Yeah, it is, but it creates Zone 3 of the Council on Foreign Relations, 10 zones that give their king power to the beast system for 1 hour. Now, I happen to tell you, and I know this is a fact, it's not open to opinion. If you might think you might have an alternate, you're wrong. So just listen out there. The most advanced artificial intelligence in the world with the fastest computers are in America, and they're in Colorado Springs. They had the Cray system with Seymour Cray, and Seymour Cray built the gallium arsenide chips at great difficulty. He thought he was going to have to build them in the space station. He actually built them in the ground in Colorado Springs. And each Cray 5 computer can process the equivalent of 100,000 Cray 4s. I walked through the Cray underground at Shreve Air Force Base 26 years ago, and I can tell you there's more computing capacity than all computers on the Earth. And they created a model of Earth with a tolerance down to 1.5 centimeters, including vertical dimensions for every person. And they call them a node, and they have the databases attached to everything through the Promise software. Now, you're a digital techo guy, right? And your work with Bill, what was it, in Barnesville. And you have cybernetic protection, but why would these idiots who invented the VOV, or the internet, 666, the supernet, why would they not have cybernetic protection for the military and our communications and our everything else so some idiot couldn't hack into it and destroy it? It's on purpose, isn't it? It's on purposely making us vulnerable so that we move to the system of encrypted technology where the government gets total control of us and we're in cyberspace, right?
That is programming need, okay?
Right.
Programming need in the public.
Right. Now, I share your concern because I've been talking to Dr. Bob Goldman, who knows apparently Ivanka Trump and Trump directly. He's one of the founding members, along with Ron Klatz, of the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine. Believe it or not, although this guy snuffs down burgers and garbage, he also has an anti-aging doctorate. It's one of my colleagues. That's why he's still frisky at his age. He's got some frisky help from one of my frisky doctor friends, and belongs to the same academy I do for anti-aging medicine. Now, Donald Trump is no dummy. This guy's probably got an IQ that we estimate around 160. And the fact that he's pushing things like 5G network and doing a little dance with Mick Mulvaney in the White House, or putting dirty water down in fault zones where there's magma, which can cause frac quakes, or pushing GMO food, he's ignoring, for example, the drug cartels are completely run by SAD, Special Activity Division of the CIA, and even within days after 9/11, 18 years ago, and a half now, he made the statement that those buildings couldn't be brought down by aircraft impact. They had to be controlled demolition. Now, he's not revisiting that, and you can tell that Donald Trump, in a sense, right now, is lying to us or telling us a partial truth. And he certainly, the impression I got from Donald Trump is this man really a Christian? Well, you got to understand, doing good works doesn't mean you're a Christian. Doing good works means you can be a high-level Luciferic Mason like the Shriners, right?
Yes.
So I want to see the beef. When we get in contact with him, I want to see if this guy's going to, number one, shut down the drug cartels and do all the other things, right?
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Where is this going? Well, I'd like to repeat the statement you made because it made me wince a bit too, but I knew I share the same feeling. You can't believe that this guy is not deceiving us. Go ahead and tell us exactly what you said before the show started today.
Okay. How's the reception? Can you hear me? Can you read this, Bill?
Yes, we can. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right. No, I'm just sitting here, and I was watching his windmill speech this morning, talking about alternate energy. And I'm sorry, I've tried, and I know you acknowledge that this guy is some sort of unrecognized genius, okay? The great leader, as some of his staffers will say, the brilliant mind, okay? No, I just don't see it, all right? I'm sorry, I just don't see it. And and I believe he is operating out of someone else's playbook. And I believe that playbook was established about 80 years ago. And I believe it is the playbook that is the same political strategy that is being used in Russia today.
Right.
All right? I just don't see any any difference, any divergence at all whatsoever. He is following it step by step to include running his own people in the same way. The mindless intimidation and thought control that he uses on his own staff, he is just translating to the American people, the American taxpayer, who are the people that are in charge of this country. That should be. Right. I know they don't think so, but that's the way it should be.
In other words, what you're saying is you're seeing a state of very advanced, what I call deception for Christians and even the state of Israel and AIPAC by a man who actually, on the one hand, is operationally pro-life and pro-religious freedom and pro-constitution, but in actual fact, he's not protecting a cyber state. He's not protecting us from missile attacks. He's not protecting us from illegal fentanyl and drugs coming in because Assad actually runs it. And he's not actually, it's not just the border. There's more people who just overstay their visas than come across the border across this big wall he's building. And so what I see happening is, to a great extent, what's going on under Trump's presidency, unless he repents or we get through to him, is just a distraction, because if they put in 5G network, which, by the way, the first of these 6 companies is going to activate them in February, just 2 months from now, this is the final layer of the mark of the beast. And, of course, I know this from my sources, comes from them going back over 20-some years, that the plan is now with the national ID to chip everybody eventually and have tracking biometrics on everybody at all times, which is why they need 5G and 6G. This is why they want to have a matrix system where they can have skyways, where they can have vehicles flying autonomously in the sky, just like the Jetsons. People say, oh, no, you're making it up, Deagle. I said, there's no room to make it up anymore. I mean, years ago you might say this isn't the case, but it's now in the public domain. Now, the beef would show if we were to see Trump repent. Number one, we get in contact with the man and he would actually, number one, stop the foolish games they're playing with the Taliban to actually make sure the illegal drugs come out of Afghanistan, because since we arrived there, the amount of heroin coming out of the dry land farming there has increased 4,400%. It's not decreased, it's dramatically increased. And it's with this illegal, nasty opioids, including the low-quality stuff called crocodile, which means it's so poor you inject it and it'll cause you to get gas gangrene between your web spaces and your fingers or underneath your eyeballs.
Crocodile, correct?
Crocodile, I call it. Crocodile, yeah. Yeah, it's like you've been bitten by a crocodile. That's what they call it that. Now, you got to understand, where's Trump coming from? Well, Trump and his father, people don't understand who these people are, including the Trump family. The Trump family are intimately tied with the Bushes and with the other organizations that made a lot of money, some pretty darn unethically. For example, Trump's father was a high-level Scottish Rite Mason. He made not billions, but trillions of dollars into illegal money flipping and gold and so on, back to the Second World War and before, right?
Yes, building cheap housing for returning GIs.
Right, that's one of the things.
With a government blessing.
With a government blessing. So in other words, and basically these people, although they look like they're in opposition to people like Hillary Clinton, to be honest with you, the opposition is Republican consumption, because to be honest with you, where we're going with either Trump or Hillary Clinton is the same place. We're just going on along a different road. Right?
That's certain.
Yeah. Now, I want to see him repent, because if Trump actually comes through with, number one, we can communicate with him. He's obviously blocking it. We've been trying for several years. Every week we send letters from John W. Spring. In fact, I did another one yesterday, put it out. Tons of hits on YouTube and Vimeo. No response other than echoes from the echo chamber of the White House telling us the same stuff we told us 18 months ago. That's what's happening.
Do you have difficulty taking supplements? Are you searching for a high-quality, complete nutritional drink that your whole family will love? NutriMedical's Life Support has arrived. All of your daily nutritional requirements in one quick, delicious drink. Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support is a proprietary blend of vegan protein, activated vitamins, essential minerals, amino acids, probiotics, green tea, digestive enzymes, anti-inflammatories, cancer prevention, detoxification, and much more. Your body will high-five you for this one. Life Support is the best complete nutritious meal replacement on the market. Whether you are an elite athlete, have post-operative challenges, chronic illness, elderly, or a family that just wants a quick, delicious drink, try Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support for optimized nutrition in one great tasting smoothie. Just add cold water, almond milk, fruit, or anything else you like. NutriMedical's Life Support. Try our great tasting chocolate or vanilla today. Call 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com. NutriMedical.com for the whole family.
Legacy Emergency Foods is the top recommendation from Dr. Bill Deagle for the lowest oxygen concentration, the largest entrees, the highest amount of protein, the most varied entrees as well, and the longest food storage life. Nothing like Legacy Emergency Foods, and if you place a regular monthly order, you get 20% off and free shipping. Do get Emergency Foods for your supply for preparation, and get it from Legacy Foods. Contact Dr. Bill Deagle for the link at NutriMedical.com. Go to the Shop by Products link and drop down message at NutriMedical.com, and then place your orders for regular emergency food for yourself and your family. Nothing like emergency food if the power goes out and you can't go to grocery stores, or if there's an emergency or a national crisis. So NutriMedical.com, top recommendation, Legacy Foods. NutriMedical.com, go to the Shop by Products and drop down menu, and stay well with NutriMedical every day of your life. Lumen photon therapy, infrared light, far and near infrared, is extremely important for pain control, stimulation of nitric oxide, improved perfusion, and stem cell activation and reduction of cytokines. Dr. Bill uses it for pain control, for regeneration techniques, for organ regeneration, and for stimulation of your stem cell activity. This amazing lumen photon therapy this year will probably have an additional device with frequency therapy during the on phase of the lights. To obtain a lumen photon machine, contact Dr. Bill at NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. He'll prescribe it with the providing nutraceuticals to help with your regeneration, healing, and pain control. Nothing like the lumen photon therapy for easy therapy for your eyes, your pain, your joints, regeneration of organs, detoxification of the body. Get a lumen photon machine from Dr. Bill Deagle, NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. To stay well with NutriMedical. The Sonic Life Machine is one of the most amazing therapies that Dr. Bill provides. It is the best sine wave exercise machine on the planet, doing whole body vibration, opening up the muscle to reduce insulin resistance, improve perfusion, release stem cell therapy throughout the body, and epigenetically stimulate the body to release DNA activated. The epigenetic therapy with the sine wave curve of frequencies given for atomic resonance, but Linus Pauling for minerals and amino acids stimulates the production of messenger RNA to correct structural protein enzyme deficiency for almost every illness. There's nothing like the sine wave therapy for improving body healing for exercise, but also the epigenetic treatments Dr. Bill can provide can help neutralize frequencies for disease states and illness. Get a Sonic Life machine through Dr. Bill Deagle at NutriMedical.com. Contact us at NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871, or go to the website NutriMedical and give us a contact. Dr. Bill is available to help you get well with NutriMedical.
Need a powerful ally to fight daily bugs and serious pathogens? Allicin Med is the powerful universal pathogen killer's latest advance of German-sourced allicin, enzymatically stabilized to clear the body of bacteria, fungi, mycobacteria, and parasites. It penetrates body biofilms and is non-toxic to tissues. Pathogen resistance cannot develop for long-term body-optimized wellness. Clear stealth pathogens that promote autoimmune disease, cancer and vascular inflammation and plaque and promote healing of tissues. Now pathogen-free. With 200 milligrams more power than prior Alamed, you can't get a more powerful ally to fight daily bugs and serious pathogens. Give your body what it needs. Allicin Med. Order Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutridyne at 888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. That's 1-888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. And listen to the NutriMedical Report on the Genesis Radio Network with open lines every weekday. NutriMedical.com, bringing nutrition and medicine together.
10 seconds, or I got it wrong? The best way to look at this is, we talked about this previously, that there's two really classes of humans, divided on several different parameters. The first parameter is that some humans are what's called passive or sheeple type humans, which are, compassionate and loving and caring and so on. And then there's what's called the wolf class or the predator class of humans. Now, you can actually biologically measure changes in their electroencephalogram by a quick scan in organic acids and so on, and you'll see they're not driven by their frontal lobes and so on, executive inhibition, but they're driven by their reptilian or their basal brain. The second thing you're going to find is what's called a curiosity index. Now, you got to understand, in the Hebrew culture, the rabbis and their rabbinate, which are the smartest people in their society, were always promoted to have more children rather than anybody else. So if anybody's starving in a community, the rabbis would always have enough food to make their children survive. So if you look at the number of people with IQs over 170 in the population around the world, the Jews and the Hebrews are way ahead of anybody else. The next beyond them would be Chinese and Asians like Koreans, and going way down the list. You'll see a lot of that high in other groups, like, for example, in Scotland and in Norway and some of these other areas where you find some pretty smart people that have invented a lot of things. Now, why is that important? It's important because when you have a high, what we call curiosity index, I'm not talking about IQ, because an IQ test is really not designed to pick up intelligence, it's to pick up academic achievability. And academic achievability means will you be compliant with the professors that are defecating intellectually, and you swallow their intellectual defecation and you defecate on the paper or reports or lab tests or whatever tests. If your defecation looks exactly like, tastes, looks, and smells like the defecation of your professor, you pass and become knighted with the knowledge that you now are like your professor. Doesn't mean you're more curious or going to be able to solve a problem. It means you're more compliant. So the test maker, when you're doing a testing for an IQ test, is not really testing intelligence. It's talking about they should call it a compliance quotient. How compliant are you with the people that are setting up a priori assumptions about the nature of your study, whether it's law, medicine, or geopolitics, or metallurgy, or whatever? And if you're highly compliant, you're going to have high IQ, or they should call it a CQ, or compliance quotient. Now, what I want is a much more broad thing called a curiosity quotient, a CQ. And a curiosity quotient means you'll be even a curious child or curious adult. You're going to ask questions until you've emptied out your brain of a priori assumptions. Realize, like the song that's at the end of the Scrooge, and he's singing at the end of the Christmas Carol, I don't know anything. Until you get to the point where you empty out your brain thinking that you know something, you can never learn a damn thing. And what I've learned, you have to ask enough questions to empty yourself out of previous a priori assumptions. And when you do that, you can finally start to see the answers to anomalies that are smacking you right in the face. Anomalies and paradoxes are the answers to questions you haven't asked yet. You don't seek the answer, you seek the best question to explain the anomalies. But the only way to do that is to empty yourself out of a priori assumptions, which isn't being taught in school or religion or anything, is it? Now, when you get somebody that's very manipulative, they understand how the brain works, and they can actually feed you false information, or, we're not going to say divert you. So, for example, when you look at Donald Trump, he's a master at diversion and control of the audience. When you see him in these massive stadia that he has, he controls that audience like he's there. The master stand-up comedian for Donald Trump is, by the way, Donald Trump. He's his best-known comedian, isn't he? And he can manipulate the audience into thinking he's pro-life, he's Christian, he's pro-American, he's patriotic, but the substance is he's increased the economy dramatically for the relatively rich and the stock market. There has been some increase in the general middle class, about $5,000, but to be honest with you, the middle and lower class, a lot of them are not doing so well because the cost of living and actual value in their pocket has not increased 40 years. Now, he wanted to get this through to increase this for the middle class and so on, increase the tax breaks he already gave them. But that's not permanent. It's only temporary until they extend it. It was extended permanently for the big stock markets and the big banks and so on, but it's not for the average middle class. So what people have to understand, there's a plan down the road to blow up the economy, and when they demolish it, they're going to replace it with a thing called the Matrix, which is, by the way, in Colorado Springs, the Tree Air Force Base, Falcon, Colorado. And unless I see other evidence otherwise, I'm going to assume that Trump is really no different than Hillary Clinton. He's just got a different time schedule and different smell to the modus of what he's doing. But in actual fact, the actual substance is no different. Now, I want to support Donald Trump, and I have supported Donald Trump. But if I don't get through to the man, he's going to get the exact opposite of support. He's going to get truth. And I'm not very pleased by over 2 years of trying to get through to him about the danger of nukes in Archila Island and Nicaragua, proof that they're also Russian nukes completely, and missiles in North Korea and Iran. They're not homegrown missiles. This is BS. They're all Russian, right from Rosatom. We got all the intel information on it. And you know, as an intel agent, Trump already knows this, just like he knew that 9/11 was an inside job and a demolition. In fact, I talked to Barbara Honegger just over the weekend, and she's got 43 lawyers actually working to reopen the can of worms of the demolition of the World Trade Center. Now, she wants me to look at a bunch of videos before I schedule her on to talk about it, so we'll have a good dialogue. But you need to understand here that Donald Trump is a master at manipulation, isn't he? Right?
He is the master of manipulation. Is that what I heard you say, Bill?
Yeah, he's a master. Hillary Clinton is not very sophisticated. She's like, her personality is too sour, too, whatever. But Trump is, man, he's a master. That's why, he could be easily a host for World Federation Wrestling, which, by the way, he has lots of affiliate friends to do that. He was the host of The Apprentice, who was very successful for NBC. You have to understand that's why he can negotiate. He can negotiate with somebody that's a mortal enemy, like, Kim for North Korea, or Xi from China that plans on taking over the artificial intelligence B system. And at the same time, he's offering them cake in Mar-a-Lago. He's working on a deal to say, hey, if you don't cooperate, bad stuff can happen. And already, since Trump's been in there, the Chinese economy has contracted 30%. They're not growing like crazy like we are. Now, there's some good things and bad things about that with Trump. The good thing is that he hasn't crashed our economy, but the bad thing is when they do crash the economy, he's allowing them to build in the system called the Matrix that will basically capture us all in cyberspace. You can see it coming, can't
you? Yes, I can see it coming.
Right. So when people say, I don't believe you, Diggle, I say, you know what? You got to research this and go through a lot of layers like we did to finally reach this realization that until otherwise, and see otherwise evidence, Trump is actually marching us over the cliff faster than Hillary could ever think of doing it. Faster than Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders that want to do communism. Totalitarian control has lots of different, masks it can wear. It can look like a social communist on one hand, or it can look like a corporate banker maniac. Well, what Trump is doing is basically developing it like the Republican side, which are like PNAC, and super conservative so-called Republicans that want to capture us in a matrix, but it's a conservative type matrix. It's the same thing, but it's just got different labels, right?
Yes.
Right. So, as we're moving into Christmas, I want people to understand, pray for Trump, pray that we get through to this man. If we can't get through to him, there's a number of things that are going to happen. Number one, either at or most likely right after the election when he gets back in, he's going to, when there's a world economic crash, he's going to do some very nasty things that are going to affect people's wealth and autonomy. Number two, he's going to send America to a world government. That's where we're going on this, isn't it? They don't want to engage America with weapons of warfare, which will annihilate all these countries. No. They want us to surrender to world governments, right?
A little more to it than that.
Yeah, a little more, but I'm just giving the basics. And the fact is, the actual core backbone for this New World Order is American. It's not British. It's not Chinese. It's not Japanese. It's American. They're getting ready to actually launch the New World Order. And people say, oh, no. Or they believe stupid things like the rapture. They're going to get taken out of here, and only the good Christians will be gone. Their clothes will be all folded up. Whoever thought that up was a real moron, thinking they could lie like that to us. When God comes back in the Aramaic Bible, it says he's going to take evil out of the world, not good. He's going to do an evilectomy, I call it. Do you like that? Evilectomy? And he's going to sanctify the earth by making us return to the Edenic covenant, where eternality and God coexisted with temporality or the world. That's what he's going to bring back, the Edenic covenant. That's what's coming. And it's going to be messy. So I'd like you to comment on what you see going on in the intel, because you're communicating with this senior, was it a general you mentioned that you were waiting for a call for? What was the story there?
Well, as I stated, okay, of course, in my book, all right, and
Midnight in
I
Samara.
stated that, yeah, exactly. And Barbara did make an excellent review of my book, and it's actually stated in the back of the book. But now, one of the things that I've been wrestling with is what I learned in 15 years ago in the intelligence mode is that yes, there is a plan, and it is encompassing, and it does involve, to this point, and when I first realized it, it had taken in and assigned up 123 countries, and by the time I finally was renditioned and thrown out, taken out forcibly on a stretcher from Iraq, by our own intelligence agencies, I didn't realize at that point that the number had swelled to about 168 countries that had signed up on the Copper Green program, the famous Copper Green program.
Now they signed up on it because its program is to rendition people that oppose their view of the New World Order and how it's going to be good for all of us, right?
Well, it doesn't matter what most of these people think. And now we're looking at 200 countries. It doesn't matter what they think. This is the way it's going to be. Okay. Right. And of course, it is all. This whole program has been orientated and originated in this country by select intelligence groups.
Right.
And there is virtually no stopping it. As far as I can tell, there is going to be no stopping it. It's like a bullet in a gun. Okay, either one is useless without the other. But when they're put together, they're unstoppable. As Chairman Mao said, power comes from the end of the gun, and as George H.W. Bush said, right before he went to the great calming in the sky, all right, was that, hey, Copper Green is the power that is going to take over and control this country. And he got that from his father, who got that from his father, and that was Samuel Bush, as he related to his son, Prescott Bush, who related that to his son, who was working, by the way, in the high command of the Nazis. Right. Okay, the Nazi Party, and of course that was Prescott Bush to George H.W. Bush.
Right.
Okay. So, but that's when this whole idea was conceived. Was over the last 50 years of the last 20th century. Okay.
Right. Are you familiar with a miniseries called The Man in the High Tower? I think it's the 5th season this year. Have you seen that on Prime?
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with that.
The Man in the High Tower. Basically, it says that World War II, it's a parallel universe where World War II, the Germans won. Well, actually, in fact, World War II, the Germans did win the war. They lost their population, they lost autonomy and control of their economy, and it was handed over to the Trilateral Commission and the other globalists. But in actual fact, Germany did not lose the war. They won the war because their intel agencies took over the space.
Yes, they won the war. Exactly.
They run the Space Command. They also run the intel control of all the intel agencies on Earth. So the Nazis did not lose. The Nazi SS, what are they called? The Luftwaffe. They call their intel agencies that run everything in Germany at the time of World War II. They didn't lose the war. They won. Hundreds of thousands came over and actually became the nidus or center part of control of the OSS, that later became the CIA and NSA. We'll be back in 4 minutes. Stay right there. Right back.
Are you still looking for that one iodine that you can really trust? A medical doctor endorsed product that is backed by honest research and true integrative science? Then search no further. Go to NutriMedical.com for Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutriodine, proven time and time again to be the very best iodine available for you. Nutriodine is the only Tesla-activated monatomic plasma iodine in the world. It optimizes mitochondrial function and generation of new mitochondria, from totally neutralizing the venom from a desert recluse spider bite in Southern California to eliminating malaria parasites reported by medical missionaries in central India. Dr. Bill's Nutriodine is simply the most powerful healing formula there is. Nutriodine clears the body of all known pathogens, restores it to an alkaline state, and even promotes stem cell regeneration. Order Dr. Bill's Nutriodine today at 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com.
Red Deer Velvet DR is an amazing new product with a patent to preserve 300 biomolecules and 6 hormones, same as fetal life, where you don't age at all. The state of fetal life allows the 300 biomolecules and 6 hormones produced by the placenta to be supportive of the regeneration of tissues and organs, with maximum apoptosis, changing the tissue and organ structure of a fetus. That's why if fetal surgery is performed, there is no scar. Taking 2 to 3 capsules twice a day with oncomycin, myco-D2, provides an amazing support for regeneration of any tissue and organ in the body, and even advanced stem cell therapy support treatment. Do get NutriMedical's Red Deer Velvet DR from Dr. Bill Deagle at NutriMedical.com, NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. Stay well and stay young with NutriMedical. Hi, I'm Dr. Bill Deagle, MD, AAEM, ACAM, A4M, of NutriMedical.com, and a consultant providing email advice free on advanced protocols for your optimized wellness and advanced technologies to heal and regenerate you. You can contact us at NutriMedical.com, that's NutriMedical.com, or 888-212-8871. You get free email starter protocols of our top medical-grade nutraceuticals, initial testing, and recommendations for your own primary doctor to do, as well as recommendations to give you an idea of a consultation and a full protocol to try to help you regenerate your tissues, heal naturally without the use of toxic polypharmacy. I can send test kits to you as well anywhere in the world and provide you recommendations to referral of specialty clinics worldwide. So contact me, Dr. Bill Deagle, at NutriMedical.com. That's NutriMedical.com, or 888-212-8871. At NutriMedical.com, we have the most amazing drinks with the best mouthfeel, highest quality bionutrient exposure to your body to heal and regenerate, and the most powerful persistence of nutrients to heal your body dramatically. We have Ageless, which makes you age less, which repairs your DNA, extends your telomeres, etc. We have Life Support that detoxes phase 2 detox pathways, glucuronidation, sulfation, and methylation pathway support. We have Glycemics that blocks the carbohydrate absorption and helps with diabetes or weight loss, and as well helps with people that are trying to build up muscle, using things like our special formulas from Dr. Wolf called Mega Muscles between meals along with Sports Energy Light. We have the amazing NutriComplete, the most complete red and greens drink in the world, with the best mouthfeel and flavor. You can often mix it too with Vitamin Mineral Mix, which is our fruit-flavored mixed power of vitamin minerals. Stay well with NutriMedical every I did up here with yesterday with John W. Spring. We put in about an hour and 40 minutes on it. And I got an email back from a person. I should kind of post up a hyperlink to another former CIA agent by the name of Robert David Steele. Now, I've heard about this guy before in the past, and of course he said he has a Christmas message for Donald Trump. I haven't seen it yet. It's only about 5.5 minutes long. But I'll have a look at it before I decide if I'm going to post it. But people have to understand what I see so far. If I was to summarize what I see in government, it was this dance on Fox and other channels. It's a dance with the devil in the deep blue sea in midnight, like you know, from the movie The Shining. I don't see Trump as a ultimate problem solver now. I see him as a manipulator of the population. And if he does turn and become real, and become, as they say, a real live boy, number one, he's going to have a testimonial and start admitting to previous sins he's done, both lascivious sexual and other financial sins, because one of the reasons why he's in a panic over keeping his financial records away from the various powers that be, including Nancy Pelosi, is he's got lots to hide, and so does his family. And again, they keep on trying to search because on the other side, this public machinating dialogue by the Democrats and Republicans is part of the distraction to keep the people from really understanding the basic things that are going to happen shortly. For example, if in 2020 they decide to start chipping the population or hauling people off to civil detention camps if they aren't compliant, a lot of people are going to go panic city. I thought I would get raptured away. You're a fool. You're not going to get raptured away. You're going to be thrown like the lions to the the cybernetic warrior class or cyborg robots or drones. I mean, people don't get it, what's coming, do they?
Well, they don't.
And what I see, I don't see anybody with their heads rolling. I mean, I'm looking at several years now. If anybody who's a normal person did the crimes of any of these people, Hillary Clinton and the people who investigated Trump, and even Trump himself, yes, he wasn't asking for a quid pro quo, but I'll tell you what Trump has done. He actually, and this is the thing where it's just making, say, the middle class women not like him, is he tends to counterpunch people that he has no business doing. It's not socially appropriate. You know, like when a father complains his kids aren't getting a ride back in Air Force One, don't counter-tweet on that. Just leave it alone. Now, there are stuff he does need to tweet over, but he's not going to, he's not recognizing the fact that the drug cartels are run by our SAD, Special Activity Division of the CIA. They're not autonomous. If they didn't have us backing them, they wouldn't be able to do all their stuff, would they?
Now, have you expressed any kind of history about the SAD and the drug import, the imported drug business?
All kinds of stuff. You can add to it. We did all kinds of stuff over the years on
from World War II. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where it all started. That's when it happened, and that's when the agency, as in the Culinary Institute of America, aka the CIA, okay, that's when it came to the fore. That's when George H.W. Bush had his rise in power, okay, and that's when this all happened, was World War II, and the drug business that we are still dealing with. We haven't even come close to dealing with the Sackler family subjugation of the American public, and also what happened. And if okay, speaking of that, ask the Chinese about drugs, okay, about opioids, okay?
Right.
Ask the Chinese what they think happened to them starting from 1850, okay, through to World War II,
right.
as in Taiwan, okay, and we all know what happened with Taiwan and Chiang Kai-shek, all right? That's where it all happened, right there. That's what we are battling. That's what the American people are kept completely unaware of right now, okay, is exactly that history that we are trying to overcome, and we will never overcome because, first of all, the administrative budgets of these wonderful what's the word, intelligence groups that protect America, well, they're completely black. Okay, we have completely black budgets, and no one knows how much these intelligence groups are paid, how much they operate on, and if you even try to find out, you would be paid.
Yeah, and that doesn't matter if you're the president, Congress, or Senate. People have to understand that a lot of this black budget, by the way, is from the illegal human trade, organ trade, or drug trade, and they're all run by SAD. In any country on earth, people don't realize that there's not multiple drug cartels. If there was multiple ones, SAD would make sure they unify, so we have to deal with only one group of people, right?
That's correct, and that is why we had World War II. All right, that's what gave us this condition that we have right now was World War II. All right, so we can't face it, we can't fight it, because we can't even figure out what we're fighting or what we're squaring off with. All right. You talk about Israel. Hey, AIPAC, okay? Surprise. Guess who AIPAC is? AIPAC is the American people. The American people are paying the Pentagon, okay? They don't know it, but about 80 to 90% of every tax dollar goes to the Pentagon. And the Pentagon turns right around and gives that money to AIPAC for parsing that money back through the system and back to these corrupt politicians that are being paid directly by AIPAC.
Right.
That's all there is to it. It's not that difficult.
It's not that complicated, is it? No.
It's not that complicated. No, absolutely not.
That's why I like to refer to the state of Israel as it's a real hell. And they try to pretend they're an autonomous country. They're not. They're under control of AIPAC, and they're basically a proxy manufacturing entity, aren't they?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's what I call a feedback loop, a gigantic feedback loop. And then you say, Bill, you say that Donald Trump doesn't want anybody looking at his tax returns. I have got a big surprise for everybody that wants to look at Donald Trump's tax returns. It isn't what you're going to see. Why does anybody think that Donald Trump can't get a security clearance? First of all, he doesn't need one. Okay, he owns the people that give security clearances, the CCF, the FBI, all of those background clearances agencies. He controls them. Okay,
right.
And if he doesn't control them, he'll intimidate them. Okay, into control. Okay, that's why you keep seeing the acronyms FBI come up. Okay, that's why you keep seeing these phone calls that were the perfect phone calls with the Ukraine coming up. Okay, the perfect. He didn't say any quid pro quo request. That's why they keep coming up. Okay, this is all part of it. It's just that simple. Okay.
Well, firstly, I don't think he actually. I think he wanted to clean up the act there, but the problem is the Democrats are pushing it too far. The problem is, this is a big distraction because the issue isn't whether he cleaned up the corruption there. The corruption on a much higher level. In other words, this fight between the Democrats and Republicans is just to keep us distracted from what's really going on, right? And what's really going on is they're moving us toward a cybernetic financial control system state where you have no physical money in your mattress or in your bank. It's all basically cybernetically connected to the super state, and they can just press
like
and it goes poof, and it goes like Bitcoin. So where I think things going is this is real simple. You have to understand that don't be distracted by the public machinations and the foolishness going on. We are in the matrix itself, and the American population is the center part of that matrix population. And they are subjugating all the peoples of Earth to actually join the system, which is why we were, I think, the first one to sign up with the USMC. And now they're trying to get it passed for Mexico and Canada. Now, if they do, along with all the other people who are designated in this, if they're all set up to actually have a new world order here this next year, the population is not prepared to have 4 days of food. They're not prepared with self-protection. They're not in there in the big cities. They don't even have EMP or control-free vehicles that they can't shut down remotely. The population are totally, desperately incompetent, aren't they?
We are 24 hours away from a revolution, a bloodthirsty, violent revolution at any given moment, and that is all based on the doors of Safeway markets, Raley's markets, any of those markets, staying open. And who controls those? Okay, quite effective agencies control whether those supermarkets stay open. They close. Right. Everybody within the sound of my voice will be turned into a howling mob, a cannibalistic mob.
It'll only take a couple of meals missed to do that. It won't take days. It'll take 2 or 3 meals gone, right?
Exactly. You better believe it.
Yeah, and if the politicians, by the way, they're delusional too and think that they can survive 93 million armed Americans, and the military won't even say that they're going to attack the public or ex-military. There's 23 million veterans in America, and there's I think 67 or 68 million armed non-veteran Americans that have multiple guns. A lot of them have bullet-making machines and so on, and they're also have got crossbows that are even much more dangerous than a regular gun in terms of total kinetic force. And a lot of them are starting to carry other types of weapons. Like I went on a month ago, found you can get these pepper spray balls that can go like 5 times farther, and they last for 5 years. That'll blind you for days. And what people have to understand is that the public is not going to put up with this, and it's going to get messy. And America's better prepared than anybody to resist the government. Now, so is the Canadians. The Canadians decided not to actually comply, so they got rid of the law a few years ago, which, by the way, the Conservative government tried to pass sneakily about 12 years ago. And the Canadians say, we're not doing that. And people would ask them, what are you doing? Because I have a Canadian audience. They said, we heard that coming, we're not going to do it. And somehow the globalist people like Schwalwell and so on are talking to themselves and telling them, don't worry, they won't shoot at you when you come looking to take all our guns and shove them into civil detention camp. Fat chance on that. You come looking for me with my guns, I'll give it back to you one bullet at a time. Plus scalar technology that's a lot nastier than guns. They'll either make you knock down or have a seizure, and you won't be able to do anything, and you'll break your teeth off when you hit the ground. But you have to understand that the public's not going to tolerate this, are we? Or not?
Like I said, we're 24 hours away from that point you just described.
Right now, what I'm saying here is, I want to see a positive response from Trump, and I'm hoping we'll get it either right before or right after Christmas. I have this kind of desperate feeling in my spirit that 2020 is going to be a hell of a year. It's 2020 for several reasons. First, you see 2020, they call it the book of Revelation or the apocalypse. People have to understand the apocalypse means God's going to reveal it all. He's going to reveal who Greg Ford is. You're not just a great author and an intel agent releasing your book, Midnight in Samara. You have a prophetic and an apostolic calling, because on a religious or spirit front, you're releasing wisdom that could save the geopolitical and the future biological presence of a population that's not destroyed by cybernetic attacks or by biological weapons or nuclear weapons. I have a calling too. We're coming calling with basically saying God has anointed us to bring wisdom to the population so they repent of tolerating Donald Trump, lying to them that he's a religious man and he's doing everything right. Everything my gut tells me that this man is deceived most of the people following him. Now, Hillary Clinton doesn't deceive anybody. She has no social, charm at all about her. So no wonder she didn't get elected. Not only is she a sicko and she's got some end-stage Parkinson's, so that's why they have all these extra doubles for her. The fact is that Donald Trump, if he gets reelected and he doesn't do what we need to do to clean up the act, he's going to prepare us for the New World Order, and much of us are going to be very, very sorry to have supported Trump and not realize this is coming. So it's up to us in 2020. Do we get this man before the end of March? We better write him and tell him, you better contact us. We're going to sort you out there, buddy. You're not going to get our red stamp of approval until we see if you really are a real live, as a Christian boy. Thank you, Reagan. Yeah, your comments were good. I mean, they got me all energized today, so we got to watch him. Let's pray for the man, but let's watch him. Coming back, we have Josh Bernstein for... Josh Bernstein, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year too, by the way, Greg and your family.
Yeah.
We're coming back with Josh Bernstein. Yeah, thank you. Josh Bernstein's coming back, and then Jonathan Gray from New Zealand. We missed his spot last week.
Yeah.